Okay, so I'm finally wearing this shirt. I've haven't worn it yet, and I made it a month ago. Anyways, in today's video, I'm actually going to be making another plastic canvas. What is that word I'm looking for? Tissue box. Why? Because my mom wants one for Mother's Day. That's what we're doing. I've made 3 in the past. I made this cake one. 2021, made this one. 2022, I made this one. I don't have them. One's in my car and the other one's hidden over there. And then I did make my mom one, but I don't have that with me. So here's the thing. Since I made my mom the last one, we started going to Costco, and Costco has a Kirkland brand box, and the box, it's over there, is a lot bigger than regular boxes. So I need to make her a new one to fit that one. My plan for this one is I'm actually going to make my mom, she picked it out. She requested a dark blue background with white stars. So that's what I'm doing. Here's the thing. I actually switched plans. I switched plans a lot. As you can probably see in this intro, I was holding plastic canvas, and that's the idea that I was gonna do. And then eventually I decided that I didn't want to do it anymore, and I ended up crocheting. But anyways, here's the rest of the intro to this project. I went to Michael's and I picked this yarn here. It is the Loops and Thread Soft Classic. This used to be Craft Smart. Remember Craft Smart yarn? Exact same thing. The color is just called Navy. And then it was local yarn store day, which if you haven't seen the video, you can watch it here. And that's where I picked out the white color for the stars. I have these 2 options. This is the one that I kind of picked up first. It is called Creative Bubble Iridescent. I think this is supposed to be meant for like a scrubby, but just in case I couldn't find this yarn here, which is the yarn I was looking for, it is white, it's sparkly, it's by Caron, Simply Soft Party. The color of this is called Snow Sparkle, which is exactly what I'm looking for. It's just white and it has a bunch of sparkles. So if I couldn't find this, I was going to take a white yarn and use this. I think I'm going to go with this though. I have not made the pattern grid yet. So my goal is I'm going to be making like a front and a back, 2 sides, and a top with a little hole, obviously, for the tissues to go in. The bottom of it, I am going to be getting some elastic, and then what I do is I put elastic on the bottom, and that way the box doesn't fall through, right? But it's easy to like move the elastics, take the box out, and put a new box in. Pretty sure that sums up the intro to this video, because I mean, not much to go over. It's not a crochet project where I have like all these details and this and that I have to do. Hopefully it goes well. All right, so I just finished this side. The stars are kind of a little wonky. I didn't want them to be like super perfect. I kind of wanted them a little bit on angles, but like, again, because it's a grid, it's not gonna be perfect. And then here's the grid, and now I just have to cut it out, start working. Turo realizes I'm doing something and has to let me know what she's doing. Anyways, I think what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to do all the stars first. So all the white stars, I'm going to do those first, and then I'm going to do blue after, because once the stars are done, it's just filling in all the squares. So it's not too bad. I'm going to start doing this. I tried with the plastic canvas, but I was getting so frustrated, like I could not figure it out. So we're just gonna do the tried and true method, and I'm just gonna crochet it instead, because that just makes much more sense to me. So you're probably wondering, why do you have your clown bag out? Well, let me tell you why I have the clown bag out. I'm gonna use it as reference, because this is the box that I'm gonna use. I'm just gonna have to figure out the dimensions, and hopefully it's the pattern I just spent a lot of time doing. If not, I'm gonna have to redo the pattern. So I'm gonna quickly do this and then let you know what's going on. After having a little bit of a mental breakdown and panicking, literally panicking because I didn't know what to do, I'm going to crochet it. But I'm not going to use this color. I'm going to use this color instead. These 2 colors will look really pretty together. Reason why I'm switching colors, because this one is way too thick. And because it is way too thick, it's not going to work with this really thin yarn. Again, I thought I was going to be using the plastic canvas for this, so the yarn weight really didn't matter. Now it does. Now it matters. This one is Mainstays acrylic yarn. I got this one at Walmart when I made my Animal Crossing Grady Square sweater months ago, and I didn't need a lot of it. And I actually brought this in for another project because I wasn't too sure what colors I wanted. What was it? It was the clown bag. It was this bag because I wasn't too sure what blue I wanted for that, and then going with a different blue. This is the blue I'm going to use for the new tissue box. Oh, I am so happy that I figured that out. I was panicking. I was panicking. The only problem that I have to deal with now is that my pattern is off. So I have to figure this out, and once that's figured out, then I can start crocheting, because the pattern I originally had, and I did all the sides already, was for the canvas. And because the canvas is a lot smaller than a crochet stitch, I gotta alter them. I just realized that I actually have to do 20 rows up, but 20 rows is gonna be way too many. Like, it's gonna be way too big. So now I gotta figure this out again. I have to refigure this out. All right, I changed the design. Hopefully this will be better. I'm also really bad at composition, so hopefully this works. I don't know what else to do after this, so this has to work.
20 minutes later.
You see those little things there? This is what they turn into. Just blobs. Once again, I am changing my strategy. Oh my god, this is like the simplest, smallest project that I've done in such a long time, and yet I am struggling with it. I think the new plan, I'm just gonna make 2 large stars, and that's it. Then with a yarn needle, I'm gonna go back in here and I'm going to, what is that word? I'm just gonna take the string, and I don't want to say it's embroider. Is this not it? Maybe it is. I don't know. But I'm going to stitch in little X's around, just give that little sparkle. That's what I'm gonna do, because these are blobs. They're blobs. I'm still in the first panel. Once I get the first panel done, I'm gonna do the exact same for the second panel, and then the sides I'm gonna have to figure out. I think the sides I might just do 1 star, and then I'm gonna have to figure out the top. I think the top I might just do a plain blue and then stitch in the stars. Honestly, think that's the only way I can do this. I'm gonna do it one more time. I realized that where the star placement was is just a little bit to the right, and I needed a little bit to the left, so I'm going to take it all apart and just redo it one more time, because once I get this one done, then everything else will be easy, because I'll have a template of what I'm doing. But because this is the first time I'm doing this, I don't really know what I'm doing. It's just taking a lot longer than I thought. Got one side done. Only little problem I'm having is, if you can kind of see here, it looks like I accidentally lost this stitch, and I don't think it's because I lost stitches. It's because this yarn is a lot thinner than this yarn, and because of that, it's a lot smaller here than it is down here. What I am going to do is I am going to block them out, steam them, and then I'm going to sew them together, so it's going to be okay. One is done. I'm going to make the second one of these now, because of course I need a front and a back, and then I need to do the sides, and then I need to do the top. It's taken me over a day just to do this, but I figured it out, and now I'm going to make another one. I have 2 done. Now, here's the thing. I switched up how I made this star, and I really like it. That one's so much better than this one. Also, I think I did something wrong here. I can blame it on the yarn, but I think I did something wrong there. I'm going to redo another one. All right, so this one's great. I'm going to redo this one, but first I'm going to make a side panel and see how that one goes, because I haven't done that yet. And then maybe I'll make the other side panel, and then I'll do this one again. And then I still got to do the top panel, and then I got to do all the little stars and sew together, and it will be done. I am a little disappointed that I got to redo it, but I mean, come on. I think this star looks a lot better than that one. And of course, here's Totoro. Totoro. Yeah? Such a little cutie. Okay, I don't know what it is with this yarn, but it keeps getting tangled. They just tangle themselves up, like so much so this happened. It might be because I bought cheap yarn. This is Walmart yarn. I'm not saying it's cheap, but I'm just saying compared to the other yarns that I'm used to, it's just a tangled mess. Again, I'm used to buying like the impeccable yarn from Michael's, and it's 2 different brands, so I shouldn't say this yarn is cheap. It's just, it's not the same consistency that I'm used to, even though they're like both 100% acrylic. That kind of threw me off, and it's just making a mess. And then this white yarn too, don't think it's a very good yarn. It's an okay yarn, but I don't think it's the best. It's kind of fraying, and it's not very soft. I mean, it's not that soft because, you know, there's glitter in it. It's causing a mess. I just want to cut it, and I have cut it. I've actually given up it a few times and just cut the yarn instead of untangling it, because I can't handle it. So I'm almost done the third one of these, because I had to redo it, and then I have to do the top. I want them all done today, so then that way I can put them on the blocking board and steam them and spray them down just so that way they like go to the shape I need them to be. Because right now they are not perfect rectangles. Oh, there she is. There's Totoro. Hi, Totoro. You just knew I was crocheting, didn't you? Here's the thing. I was a little dum-dum and I wasn't paying attention. Here's the thing. I said 18 rows up. I forgot that the 18 meant 18 single crochets across, which is completely different from a row. Because a row is taller than it is wide. Kind of forgot about that. So I'm like here, and I actually had like 2 more rows of this before I started doing back to like enough the short and go back to the long. That's not gonna work. It's okay. I'm actually in a better position than I thought right now, because as of right now, it just means I have to do less rows here. Wait, crochet minute. A little tip is if you're making something like this with an opening. So what I did is I went back and forth, then it was over here, and then I kind of went up, but I want to get this little gap done before I go across again. So when you're doing this, you might think you want to start at the end. You don't want to do that unless that's where you ended your row, because what will end up happening is the row will look different. You want to start in the direction you want to go in. So when I was over here, I started at the M and I was going this way and then back and forth. Initially, I would have went all the way down, and so you're going this way, which means you want to start that little section that you have to add on going in the same direction. Give you a little example of what that would look like. I don't know if you can see the difference, but I can see the difference. There's like this kind of indent, right? There's little circles kind of, and then there's like the indent. So you're going one way and then you're going back the other way. So it's 2 rows. What ends up happening is that each row is just off a little bit. So it's like, unlike knitting where everything is like nice and straight. For this, it's like 1 row's here, but then the second row's there. And then the 3rd row's back this way. And then the 4th row's back this way. So it kind of goes like in and out just ever so slightly. Here, I started here and went this way. And when that happened, I was just recreating the same stitch. So there's a front stitch and a back stitch, all right? This is technically a second front stitch. So you have a front stitch on top of a front stitch. I don't know if that makes any sense, but that's where I'm going with this. There isn't that line that you see here. It's not there. It's the same stitch. And if you look at it, they're lined up really evenly, whereas over here, they're not. It doesn't make a big difference. I see the difference, and that is why I start and work my way this way. Like, I'm gonna take this apart. I was just doing this to kind of show you what it would look like. Also, remember how I was telling you about where you want to start here? It wouldn't have lined up here if I would have started here. It also wouldn't have lined up right here really nicely either. I know there was 17 single crochets in the middle here, so I just chained 17, and now I'm just gonna continue going back and forth for 6 more rows, and then the top will be done, but I still have to add a bunch of sparkles to it. Now that all the pieces are done, I'm actually going to be using this yarn here, which is called Creative Bubble. Remember at the very beginning, I wasn't too sure what I wanted to do. Really glad I did go with this white one, because this is like just super thin, so I would have had to wrap it around another yarn, which I also could have done, and that would also look really good. I have a yarn needle. I am just going to sew little stars just around, and I think I'm going to do like 3 points. So it's like just like a little star, and I'm just gonna go around all of them and just continue doing this. This is what it looks like done. I have that one done. I have this one done. Now I just have to do the 2 little sides and the top, and then I'm going to pin them on the board and give them a little steam and leave them for the night. Pin them all to the shape that they're supposed to be, and now I'm going to give them a quick little steam. So I let these sit overnight, and now I'm going to unpin them and sew them together. I don't know what happened to my thing where I put my pins in, so I'm just gonna put them in this little mushroom guy that I got from an estate sale. What I'm doing is I'm pinning them good side to good side, and I'm going to sew that up, and then I'm going to do the same for that side, this side, and then stitch all the sides down. And then I think at the very end, I'm going to do 1 single crochet at the bottom. And I still have to weave in the ends, but I think I'm going to do that at the end. Now I have all the pieces connected and they're all the right facing way. That's always my fear, and you know that happens a lot to me. Also, I just realized I made the Coraline sweater into a tissue box cover. I'm not mad about that. The next step is I have to now sew these pieces together, and then that way when they flip out, it will be like a nice corner piece. This is what it's looking like right now. I do have to weave in the ends. The reason why I didn't weave in these ones, like I said before, is because I knew I was gonna have all these ones where I was attaching, so I'd rather just do it all at once. I'm going to weave them in now. I weaved in most of the ends. How? What? Every time I think of, like, I got all the ends woven in, it's fine. Nope, there's always one or two or three. I think I do them all, and then I don't, and it's just like, so now I'm gonna do a single crochet border on the inside as well as the outside, and then that should be it. The last thing I did was add 2 little elastic straps, so then that way, because it is a little bit big, it kind of wraps it underneath so it's not really shown, as well as it keeps the box in here, so if you were to pick it up, the box isn't gonna fall out, but because they are elastic, you can stretch them, you can replace the box essentially. That's how it's looking right now. The little tissue box holder is done. I think it's pretty cute. It's pretty cute. Did I even write down how long it took me to make? It was like literally all over the place. Let me just do that. In total, this took me anywhere from 7 to 8 hours. That's also including sewing it together and the many fails, and the fact that I had to redo one of the panels. So I technically did this panel 3 times, so that's also included in the calculations. Honestly, it was a lot easier once I figured out the math of it. I do feel like it is still a little big, but here's the thing. The problem I had before was that the thing I made my mom was too small. So I made it a little bit bigger, and I might have made it a little bit too big, but I didn't want to make it too small and then be like, oh, okay. And that's where the elastics really come in, because they really tighten these down here. And I feel like I could have put an elastic like from here to here, but then that would just be more difficult trying to take the box out. But I think it looks pretty good. I put the box in so you can really kind of see the shape. And like, this is the top of it. I feel like I probably could have done a few more sparkles, but it was really kind of hard to figure out where to put them. And to be honest, I think if I were to redo the little sparkles that I kind of just hand sewed in, I would do the whole box first, like attach everything together and then put them in, because like now looking at it, spaces like here, like I would have moved maybe this one down a little bit or put one here, you know what I mean? But overall, I think this is pretty good. It is giving very Toronto Maple Leafs, just a little bit. I think it's because of the blue and the white. I think it's really cute, and I'm really glad I did go with those nice fun sparkles, that sparkly yarn. So I'm really glad I was able to use both the yarns, but I wasn't too sure what yarns I was going to use, and I'm really glad I did do a mixture of both of them, because you really can see the sparkle. I don't know if on camera it's very bright, but there's a lot of sparkle like up close. But if I were have taken this yarn and make these little guys, I don't think it would have been as sparkly, and I wanted the sparkle. Now this is my very first crocheted tissue box holder, because the other ones I used the, you saw me have it in the beginning of the video, and then I nixed it because I'm like, I'm not doing it, the plastic canvas. And I think where the plastic canvas kind of threw me through is that, like, it's the way you have to stitch them. I couldn't really wrap my brain around it. I just kind of went with what I knew, and that is crocheting, and I think it worked out pretty good. I think the stars look really good. That was another thing. It took me forever to troubleshoot the stars. Like, I had so many variations of stars, and I would crochet. I'm like, that's not working, that's not working. And then eventually I got this that looks like a star, and that's what I'm gonna do. This pattern will be on my Patreon, and it will be the May Patreon pattern for the month. Also, like, if you're not interested in making a tissue box, you can also just use it for the grid for the stars. So if, say, you want to make a Coraline sweater, which I may or may not do because I've already made one, but it wasn't crocheted, you can always just use the pattern that I created. So you can download it and, you know, do your own little grid and put the stars wherever you want to, because I've already done the hard work for you, right? And you see what they turn out to be. I think I give it like maybe an a 7 out of 10. Could have made it a little bit more tighter, but it was very hard to figure out. And I also, another little deduction of point is that if you're going to do this, I would suggest maybe using the same type of yarn. This yarn here is a lot smaller than this, and because of that, this way was a lot shorter. So it'd go like thicker yarn, thin yarn, thicker yarn, thin yarn, and so that kind of squished this in a bit on the front and the sides. And then when I went to do this, because it was just all that thick yarn, it was a little big because I wasn't swishing to the thinner yarn, which would make smaller crochet stitches, thus making the measurement a little bit smaller. There's that. But overall, I think this is a pretty cute little tissue box holder. It's not too heavy, but also like it's not gonna, like your tissues are still gonna come out of the box. I don't know if you ever get it where you try to pull a tissue out and the whole box just goes with it, whereas this I think weighs it down a little bit. So that is the Star tissue box holder, and I would like to make more in the future. I just have a ton of projects that I need to do. There's a lot of projects I need to do. If you are new to my channel, like sewing, thrifting, crafting, and of course crocheting, why not hit the subscribe button? You can follow me on my Instagram, my TikTok, and of course my Patreon, where I post patterns. Yeah, I think that is it. So y'all have a good day now.